Hey folks, it's Mandy Enright, your food and movement dietitian here, talking to you today about something I have been hearing a lot about these last few weeks here, both in my own work as a corporate wellness specialist and online on social media. So I want to talk to you guys today about concerns with gaining weight from working at home. Now, I have been working from home exclusively for about the past 5 years, but even when I worked in corporate America, I was able to finagle a few work from home days here and there, depending how cool my bosses were. So I will definitely say working from home is a discipline. And I learned how to do it without a major health crisis going on or having to deal with kids all home and homeschooling at the same time. So first and foremost, I just want to say, cut yourself some slack. This is not easy for anybody, and I know everyone's doing the best that they can. So give yourself a pat on the back for where you are at this point and how far you've gotten. That being said, I do know that there's a lot of people who are out there currently complaining that their biggest fear is not contracting coronavirus, but gaining what they are calling the Corona-19. So if you thought the freshman 15 was something to fear and overcome, apparently the Corona-19 is the next thing. So I want to just talk to you guys today a little bit about some tips for how you can offset and watch your weight and avoid gaining weight while you're working from home. So the first tip I want to give you is, if possible, do not work in your kitchen. I know it's very tempting. There's probably flat space. You're kind of in the middle of everything. And I do want to be, mindful that not everybody has extra room. So if the kitchen is the place that you have to work, that's fine. The reason that I say don't work in the kitchen is, number one, you are going to be surrounded by all these tempting things. So if it's around you all day, it's going to bother you, and you're probably going to want to munch on things maybe a little bit more frequently than you would otherwise. Also, too, your kitchen is really where you're spending your personal time. So it becomes hard to separate work and home life when you're working literally in your home, in one of the main areas of your home, and it's hard to kind of cut that off. So what I would really say is try not to work in your kitchen, not only just from an eating standpoint, but also just from a way of separating work and home life. Overall, you need to treat working from home like going to work, because you're just not taking yourself into an office. So with that said, my second tip is set yourself a schedule. Just like you have a set schedule for your workday, you may or may not realize it, but your workday follows a certain pattern. And I know when we're home, we kind of lose that because we're not on this rigid schedule. But it still helps to put something in place for yourself, so that way you're going to be able to know, number one, what is your start and stop time? And then also, how are you going to fit in things like meals? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Put those into your schedule. Same thing with movement. We want to get up and move, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But get a schedule in place for yourself. The great thing is you're home and you have a lot more flexibility, so you don't necessarily have to follow this 9 to 5 schedule. You can start your day a little bit later. You could break it up, however it's going to work for you, but create a schedule that works for you. My third tip when it comes to not gaining weight while working from home: wear pants. Yes, I know it is super tempting that we want to sit home all day in our pajamas and our sweatpants and be as cozy and comfy as we want to be. And that's totally cool. I mean, you guys can see me like, hi, I wear fitness stuff all the time because that's part of my job. But my recommendation is to wearing pants with a waistband on it that fits around you. And the reason for that is because when we do tend to wear looser clothes, it's kind of harder to tell, are we gaining weight or not? And, it's better to kind of like be able to see and feel how things are going, how your clothes are fitting. And if all we're doing is wearing loose fitting clothes all the time, it doesn't necessarily help us be more mindful with our weight and what we're doing. My other thing too is that when we put on like real clothes for our workday at home, we're just a lot more productive and we're ready to like tackle the day because we put clothes on and we can do anything now. All right, my fourth thing, guys, you work from home. There's a lot going on outside in the world, but guess what? One of the things that hasn't changed in the last few weeks is good old-fashioned basic nutrition advice. So we still want to make sure that we're eating fruits and vegetables and whole grains and high fiber foods and lean proteins and getting all those goodness in. So we still want to make sure we're following basic nutrition principles. We're watching our portion sizes, we're getting variety, we're getting higher intake of wholesome foods like fruits and vegetables, and limiting the processed stuff. So I don't know why people seem to be equating that this is the time to just go to town on everything. Just make sure that you're still following those basic principles. And again, can you increase intake of things like fruits and vegetables as snacks instead of some of the more treat type foods? Other cool thing, people are cooking more at home. So you're gonna also be able to manage your weight because you're cooking more at home. You have control over your food and your portions and your ingredients and what you're having. So that's another slam dunk that's happening right there for you. And I hope that you take away from this whole experience that maybe you are gonna cook from home a little bit more. All right, number 5. Something I call environmental engineering, which is really about setting up your space. So the first thing we talked about was about your workspace and not necessarily sitting in your kitchen to work and setting up a dedicated office space. But even in your kitchen, making sure that it's set up for success. So what does that mean? Well, it means don't put the cookies and all the treat foods out in plain view on the countertops, right? I always say out of sight, out of mind. Also putting items that are healthier and the things we want to try to be eating more towards the front of the fridge and the pantry. Try to put it at eye level, and then putting the more treat foods towards the back. I'm not saying that I ideally want you to forget about them, but they're just not going to be staring you in the face right away. Also doing something like putting a fruit bowl out on your countertop is going to be great because it's going to be really enticing. That's something you should be reaching for instead of some of the more indulgent treat type foods that we want to try and keep to a minimum. So out of sight, out of mind. All right, number 6, guys, when we work from home, because we ain't got nowhere to be, our tushes are in our chair way too much. So you gotta get up and move during your day. It's even more important to get up and move at home than it is when you're in an office. Every 30 minutes, you should be getting up and moving in some way. Take productive breaks to get up and move. One of my biggest suggestions I give to folks is try to wear a headset or earbuds. So if you are on the phone a lot, it's gonna give you a reason to get up and move. You can go outside because you work from home, and you can go outside and you can go take a walk or walk the dog and put your earbuds in and have a complete conversation or sit on a conference call and get some movement in. So multitasking movement is a great thing. Sitting at your desk, exercise, stretch. If you don't know how to do that, head to my Instagram TV. I got a ton of chair yoga videos to teach you different stretches you can do, or do some squats at your desk while you're sitting on a conference call. And again, don't make the kitchen the first place that you go to on a break. And then my 7th thing is make time for fitness, because you got it right now. The number one excuse I hear from people of why they can't work out during the work week is they don't have time, whether it's from commuting or having to be in the office. Well, guess what? You guys have all this time back to you because you're not commuting. That's time you could be working out. You don't have to be at the gym for an hour or 2 hours. Again, you can see now is the best time to get into a workout routine because everything is free. There's apps, there's trials, whatever you want to do. Gyms are doing free classes. You have absolutely no excuses to not be moving at this time. So like I said, do it at your desk, break that time and put that time into your schedule, and it's yours. All right, so again, 3 big things I want you guys to take away from this whole rant. Number 1, set boundaries around yourself, your schedule, your time. Eat and move with intention. Don't do it mindlessly. And then make a plan that you can follow. All right, guys, if you have any more questions, follow along, drop some comments. I'd love to hear what some of your tips and tricks are to help avoid gaining weight during this whole quarantine. And I'll be back at you with some more tips coming ahead. For more information, head to mandyenright.com. I'll see you there.